Hello everybody and welcome to week 7 of our weekly COVID SMS updates. I'll start off by discussing Boris's speech that you probably saw on Sunday. A lot of you and the media certainly said that raised more questions than answers. I was amongst those, thinking that was both vague and confusing, and started to think about that. Well, Boris is a clever guy, reasonably clever guy. Why so? And he has a lot of advisors, analysts that would be very clever. Why so vague and confusing? Well, it's intentional, I think. In my opinion, that was intentional. That was, then we will give you this much information that you can say this and do this, but don't do that. Leaving the interpretation to the general public and business owners, business managers to make those decisions. There'll be more information in due course, but I would imagine that it will still stay intentionally confusing and vague, so that we are, as a nation, governed by what we decide as a collective. So we are, as a business, making those decisions, and as long as we open and maintain in line with government guidance, and government have published various, I think 7 different documents that cover various different industries, and opening offices is one of them. We've put a RAMs in place to ensure that we're following that. The other thing that the government have mentioned is the extension of furlough. Well, furlough that was due to end the end of June. Again, in my opinion, is there a reason why they extended it now until the end of October? Well, if it had ended at the end of June, any of the businesses that are currently struggling would have, at this point in time, had to have started redundancy consultation. And the government realised that they couldn't afford to suddenly, in the middle of this, have mass redundancies. Again, that's my observations and trying to stay with impartial news in the media to try and build a picture. That's my opinion. And a lot of businesses now will consider restructuring because of the impact of COVID. SMS will have to consider restructuring because of the impact of COVID. Every business will have to consider some sort of restructuring because of the impact this is having. And I believe that the government know that that's coming. That's going to be a massive impact, possibly a bigger impact than COVID is, if you believe what you read. Another point to touch on is Harwell, the office at Harwell. We before we moved to Harwell, we were in Thiel in Reading, and we were in an office that had siloed rooms everywhere. So lots of people in lots of little rooms all over the place. You didn't even know who was in, and that did not lend itself very well to a company with our growth. Expected growth and ambition didn't lend itself very well. So we thought we need to move to somewhere more ambitious and somewhere that lends itself better to communication. So we took a massive leap to come to Harwell, a really scary leap for us to come to Harwell, but we did it. And it wasn't a coincidence that just after moving to Harwell, we suddenly saw an improvement in operational business continuity, and coupled with the growth of SMS immediately at that period after us moving into Harwell. So Harwell is key to SMS maintaining things going forward, and we need to get Harwell operational as soon as we can, in ensuring that we are doing enough to make sure that we're not risking people. So I'm going to give you a little tour for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to look around the office, so you'll have to bear with my camera work. But this is a tour of Harwell and what we're doing in terms of opening the office up. So you'll see that there's areas in the kitchen, for instance, that we've now taped off, and there'll be restrictions on the amount of people that can come into certain areas. So we've had to move furniture around, etc. Again, sorry for this camera work. In reception, and you'll see certain signs around. In reception, again, we've taped off certain areas, we'll have a Perspex screen here, and we will be doing temperature monitoring of everybody that attends the office. Any temperature above the recommended guidelines, they are asked, so they stand behind the Perspex, we scan them, and they're asked to leave. And actually on the outside of the door, we've informed people that's the case. Various notices everywhere. This is an entrance only door to again make sure that those fraction points are minimised as far as possible. And Tina on reception will be using her thermometer, which she's now going to demonstrate to you, to take people's temperatures. And if they fail, they won't be allowed in the office. We then have markings on the floor to ensure that there's no infraction points again. And we can maintain the 2 metres throughout the office at all times in line with the guidance. And again, you'll see that we've made provision for the desks to be moved apart so that there's all, and desks that are taken offline. We will increase cleaning. We will have various workstations that people won't be able to hot desk for the period, and we'll never exceed more than about 10 people in here during this period. So that's it for now. We'll see you again on week 8. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.